Hi everybody, this is going to be a test comparing two microphones that I have. I'm planning to get more, dive into the more expensive one in time. But in this video, I'm going to compare two cheap microphones. The first one is the Fifine K688. This is a dynamic microphone with shock mount, touch mute, headphone jack, also some controls at the back, and also support both USB and XLR. Now, the official website is listed as $73, although I found it at around $30 to $40 as well. So again, relatively cheap microphone. And the one that you see here, by the way, until now I was speaking with the Behringer, just so you know. We're gonna change and switch in a moment. So this is the Behringer XM8500. This is again a dynamic microphone, or as it's written on the box, a dynamic cardioid vocal microphone, also known as Ultra Voice. You can get it around $20 to $30. It also comes in a box with an adapter. It feels much more heavy duty and durable compared to the Fifine. It feels more plasticky. So though again the K688 comes with more features, this is also why probably a bit more expensive. But nonetheless, all of them falling into the affordable price. Now I actually got doesn't come with the box, but I actually got a separate pop filter. But from what I've read, it actually comes with a built-in one, so it's not actually needed. I'm just saying. I mean, from a podcasting, streaming, voiceover type of perspective. All right, let's move for some voice tests. All right, let's begin. No filters whatsoever, straight out of the mic. All right, no noise reduction, nothing. A bit of air conditioning at the top of my head being active. I'm speaking around 1-2 inches from the microphone. Now I'm just going to go a bit back from the microphone, several inches more. And now we're going to get closer to the microphone. You can definitely hear this is something that you want to speak relatively close to the microphone. Again, it's also, a dynamic microphone. All right, now we are speaking with the Fifine K688. I'm speaking very close to the microphone right now. Again, this is also a dynamic microphone. I'm holding it in my hand, by the way. Let's just get a bit further, several inches away from the microphone. Still relatively close. Now I'm going to get back and speak more closely to the microphone. I found the Fifine voice to be slightly sharper, slightly more harsh compared to the XM8500. I also prefer the color of the sound to my voice again, and the clarity I think is also better. All right, now we're going to speak and test the sibilance, the test phrases. All right, so we're going to start with the with the Fifine. Let's just say Fifine. All right, Sally sells 6 silky shimmering scarves. She says stress causes serious sickness. Statistics consistently shows rising sales figures. The instant hiss of the restless snake ceases and silence spreads. Susan's sister Stacy insists on sipping sparkling seltzer. All right, now we're going to switch. All right, now let's switch to the Behringer and let's read the same lines. Sally sells 6 silky shimmering scarves. She says stress causes serious sickness. Statistics constantly show rising sales figures. The instant hiss of the restless snake ceases and silence spreads. Susan's sister Stacy insists on sipping sparkling seltzer. Yeah, so first of all, you also notice that the Behringer is more kind of a bassy, right? It's still very good clarity, but more bassy. And you can hear also that the S sounds sound in my base, for what I heard, listening to it again, that it's better and less harsh on the Behringer XM8500. Also want to add, by the way, that both microphones are connected to the Wave XLR, not at the same time, but to the Wave XLR, Elgato Wave XLR. Now I'm going to speak for different directions so you can actually hear how it sounds. So now I'm speaking in front of the Behringer XM8500. Now I'm going to go to the side until I'm going to be like 90 degrees to the side. I'm going to tell you when. Now I'm kind of 90 degrees to the side, speaking to the microphone to the left. Now I'm going to move back into the front, speaking to the microphone. And now I'm going to move to the side again, to the right side, speaking to the microphone. Now I'm going to speak a bit to the top of the microphone. Now I'm going to speak now very to the bottom of the microphone and moving back again and speaking to the middle. All right, now using the Fifine microphone, okay, now at the front, speaking at the front, relatively very close. Now I'm going to turn to the left, I'm going to move, and now I'm actually speaking 90 degrees from the side to the microphone. Now I'm going to go back until we reach to the center of the microphone, which is now moving to the right side of the microphone, moving now until we are 90 degrees. Now we're 90 degrees to the microphone. Now I'm going to speak more above the microphone, the bottom, and now I'm going to move to the front, and then I'm going to move to the bottom of the microphone right now, and moving back to the microphone to the center. All right, so the thing is with the Fifine, I always want to get kind of the more bassy sound, so I need to be relatively very close to it. Although again, right now I'm close, but if I move just a bit more, a few inches more, you're going to see the difference in sound, and it's quite significant. It's just kind of a totally different sound if you are not really at a certain distance from the microphone. Now let's switch. All right, so now I'm using the Behringer, and now I'm speaking relatively close to the microphone. I think about 1 inch, 2 inches from the microphone. I'm going to just go just a bit back so you can see how it's sounding relatively, like 4 inches, something like that from the microphone. And you can see that it's much, much better. Now I'm continuing about 4 inches from the microphone. It still sounds relatively better because, again, I heard it, of course, in post. So it sounds really, really better compared to the Fifine. Fifine, I just move a bit back. The sound just sounds a bit harsh, or not a bit, a lot of harsh, kind of just loses its color almost totally. I mean, it is expected to lose the boominess. Again, this is a proximity effect, but I really like that the Behringer actually kept it very well, very good clarity, not harsh, even if I'm several inches away from the microphone, which I'm actually right now speaking several inches away. Now I'm just going to get a bit more so you can see you can hear the difference. Also, I think that the Behringer handles a proximity effect better compared to the Fifine, and because again with the Fifine it's just so, I just move a bit back, it just changes when I'm just speaking and just doing voiceover or streaming or whatever, and I make these little changes. It's very significant that I always need to worry about being in a certain proximity in order to get the right sound that I want. Whether with the Behringer, it's not really an issue right now. Even if I get a bit back, a bit close, it still keeps a very good clarity, good sound, and overall deals well with proximity effect. All right, now back to the Fifine. So just so you know that I'm testing both again with XLR. I'm not using USB on the Fifine. So the thing is that I realized that consistency is so important. I realized that in many times when I'm recording, I need to fix audio issues with the recording because something is just totally off, just because of the little things, just not consistent enough with the Fifine. Also, if I want to get it bassy, I need to get relatively very close. And again, I'm going to sound, of course, more harsh. Again, the sound going to be hard. It's leads to very annoying things that you need to fix in editing, right? Whether with the Behringer, for example, I don't have this issue because it's more consistent results. I'm just going to speak again close to the microphone. All right, very close to the Fifine. I'm going to go just a bit back several inches further away from the microphone. And now I'm going to move again very closer to the microphone where even my lips start touching the cover of the microphone. So with the Fifine, I actually prefer my voice when I'm very close to the microphone. But again, this also makes it inconvenient, right? Because I need to be very close, and most of the time I don't want to be that close to the microphone. So you can see the problem with this microphone. It's getting various results even with a relatively slight difference compared to the distance, the proximity from the microphone. With the different angles, it's more or less the same, but if you take a different angle any bit further away, it's going to be worse on the Fifine. All right, back to the Behringer. So I think you can actually hear it. Even while I'm actually talking in this video, you can see there are kind of moves with the volume, it changes, the color changes, it can keep consistently the color of the sound based on relatively small differences in distances and angles from the microphone. And this makes a huge difference because if you are doing lots of recordings and voiceover, for example, you need to fix lots of things later on if something you don't get it right. And because I use it a lot before, I can tell you this is indeed the case. There's so many times why I'm getting this type of voice color, why it sounds like that, why it sounds like that. It always changes. And right now, and I did of course listen to what I'm actually speaking right now in post. At the Behringer, again, I'm relatively like 3 inches now from the microphone. It sounds very consistent. I can get a bit closer, a bit back. Still, really get this nice bassy type of sound that I like, and a radiophonic sound. and still not huge changes in terms of quality. It doesn't lose its in quotation, its resolution. All right, let's do some plosive tests. 1 inch from the microphone. Let's start with the Behringer. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. All right, now moving to the Fifine K688. 1 inch from the microphone. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. 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 All right, now I speak through the Behringer, so we can definitely hear that there are differences here, right? The Behringer plosives are more tamed and definitely more harsh on the Fifine. Now, I think for relatively short distance, the sound of the Behringer is kind of more flat, but again, the bass is there even if you get a bit further away. Whether with the Fifine is kind of is harsher in the mids, it loses the highs relatively fast when you're just getting further away. And again, with the Plosive, you can definitely hear that the Behringer has an advantage here. Yeah, so if you just focus on sound quality alone, we can definitely see this is a huge difference compared to the Fifine. It's just a better mic in terms overall, in my opinion. Now, it also better fits my voice. Maybe from other voices, there are more basic voices. Maybe you find that the Fifine might be better, but I don't think so. I think it just loses its quality and resolution when you get just relatively further away from the microphone with the Fifine. So I don't think this is something that's kind of fixable, maybe with AI, but again, I'm just talking about straight out of the box. It's just very poor performance. It's just the consistency is not there, and it's super important when you're recording. You don't need to worry all the time where your mouth is located very close, where it's just not good. And I had so many bad results, but we don't know that because I'm editing. Even when after editing, I just can't really get this clear sound because every single thing that I do in order to fix it kind of impaired overall sound quality. All right, now let's check some ambient sounds. So yeah, I don't think you hear there's air conditioning in the background, but this is dynamic microphone, so it's less likely to pick up sound. But let's do some testing. Again, with the Behringer, I'm going to type. I have a mechanical red switches keyboard. I'm going to type now. I'm just going to shut up and you can actually hear the sound of the keyboard. All right, there's no, by the way, noise reduction here at all. I'm just typing, so no noise reduction. Of course, with noise reduction, I can eliminate it totally, but just showing you outside of the box how it works without any filter whatsoever. All right, speaking and typing. All right, now we're going to just tap on the, again, I don't have any shock mount. Again, I mean, it's supposed to have something built in the Behringer, but I'm just going to, again, as it is, I'm going to just type on the type. I'm just going to tap the desk. Slight tapping. Now I'm going to tap on the microphone slightly, and on the boom arm. It also holds the microphone. All right, so this is the Behringer. All right, now back to the Fifine. Now I'm going to type the mechanical keyboard. I'm going to be quiet now. Now I'm going to speak and type on my mechanical red switches keyboard, so you can hear how it sounds when I'm actually typing and speaking at the same time, relatively 1 inch, 2 inches from the microphone, 2 or 3 inches from the microphone, so you can hear how it sounds. All right, now I'm going to tap on the desk. Now I'm going to tap on the microphone itself. All right, so that's the Fifine. So certainly there are differences here, especially again when you're tapping the mic, holding it in your hand. Although if you're podcasting stream, you won't do that. As you can see, also advantage for the Behringer as well. In terms of picking up noise for the mechanical keyboard, it's not a huge difference, I think. And anyway, I think many players will use something. Some people who are gaming, streaming, will use something to reduce this type of sound using AI. So it shouldn't be an issue if you're using those. All right, bottom line is, well, I just want to add, by the way, that the Fifine also have two knobs at the back, one for microphone gain that control how sensitive the microphone is, effectively adjusting the volume of your voice being picked up by the microphone. And you also had headphone volume for monitoring level. Again, this is controls the volume of the audio you're going to hear through the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the microphone, allowing you to monitor your voice in real time. All right, so again, there are advantages, of course, for the Fifine in that aspect in terms of versatility. But in terms of, and sometimes maybe looks, some people may prefer, of course, the looks of a microphone. If they're streaming, they want their room to look cool, the microphone to look cool. Especially many people don't like the look of the, something that looks like a singer type of microphone. I can understand that. But talking about sound quality alone here, definitely with all these things, I think that Behringer takes the crown easily against the Fifine K688. I think just the consistency alone kind of ruined the Fifine K688 because, again, if you're doing lots of voice recording, it's going to be pretty terrible consistency, and you're going to waste a lot of time in order to edit and try to fix it if you care about, again, of course, the quality of the audio in the videos, which you should. And that's it overall. This is for this review. Hope you find this one useful. Pretty extensive here and there, I know, but I wanted to cover subtle things that people care about. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. If you want to test anything in the comment section. Thanks for watching, everybody. Also consider subscribing to my channel. Lots of cool stuff gaming. I'm going to test lots of hardware and also more microphones in the near future. See you on the next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.